We're going to dive in how we did $1 million in Q4 of last year and break down exactly what we did in order to scale that quickly and give you guys some insights on what you can do to implement some scaling tactics for you in Q4 of this year. This was an incredible 3-month period that we had. We actually did it in just under 90 days, as you can see here. We did, pretty heavy sales in November and December, as you can tell, which most of you who are watching this video are familiar with. Q4 is the best time for us to sell. And I'm going to break down how you can do it too. So we're going to start with some principles here at the beginning. And the goal for me by the end of this video is to give you some sticking points in your mind that you can focus on as you bring this information back to your team, as you implement this as a founder, because this is really what allowed us to be able to scale so quickly. I'm going to reveal the one big thing at the end to really give you an insight into what is the needle moving thing. What is the main thing that you should be focused on amongst all the different hats that you're already wearing in your business. So the two main components here is operations and marketing. And so within operations and marketing, there's a few things that have to work in order for you to be able to scale successfully, okay? So in operations, we know that sales forecasting is very, very important. You need to make sure that you have enough inventory on hand to be able to manage and be able to scale. And also knowing your lead time for those products. If you do run out of stock, how long does it take for your product to get back in stock in your warehouse or in your 3PL? The fulfillment side of things needs to be smooth, needs to be done at a rate that is sustainable at scale. So if you have a team that is a little out of sync, or you don't have a smooth process for fulfillment and how to increase the amount of orders that are being packaged and shipped per day, this is something that needs to be considered, because this can actually ruin your brand if you aren't focused on this or you don't have this dialed in. And so scaling very, very aggressively could actually hurt you. And I have a personal story about that. We scaled a little too quickly with our brand a couple of years ago, and it did have an effect on our brand reputation, because we could not get orders out within the 2-week time period that we were giving our customers. Ended up taking about 2 months, and that had a really big whiplash effect on our business. So you want to make sure this is dialed. The customer service side of things is very important as well. You're going to get an influx of customer emails, right? And messages on social media. Make sure that someone is taking responsibility for this thing. And then communication. This communication comes between you, your agency, your partners, and your team. And it's very important that when we approach Q4 and we talk about locking in for Q4 and being successful during this period, it's really important that everyone is on the same page with the marketing, okay? The best strategies, the most growth that I see across brands is when their marketing is aligned, meaning that you can create a campaign that can be run and promoted across your email, SMS, your Facebook ads, your TikTok ads, your Google ads, everywhere, and even your social strategy, your organic social strategy. That is really, really important, because it creates cohesion between all different departments and allows your customers to kind of have a focal point on what you're pushing during that promotional period. And you can do a lot more with this, which we'll dive into in a second. So these are kind of the operational side of things that need to be dialed and need to be kind of a focus point for you in preparing to scale really aggressively. And I'm going to kind of break down how you can do that here in a second. So on the marketing side, these are probably things that you are familiar with, that you may already be doing. You may already be working with some affiliates or partners to promote your products and brand, or you may even be on TikTok Shop and you're already using affiliates on the platform, okay? So these are kind of the focal points that we are going to set the tone for the rest of this video. So what really houses everything that we've discussed with operations and marketing is a branded campaign. Now, I discussed this, or I mentioned this just a moment ago. A branded campaign is something that you can keep at the forefront of your customer's mind. It creates an environment, it creates an emotion, a feeling behind the promotion that you're running. It's not just running a 15% discount during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's more about creating a world, an environment, a feeling around a branded concept that includes your logo, maybe some of the other branding elements you have, combined with something that people can connect with. And so let me give you an example of what this looks like. So we did this during Black Friday and Christmas time for our brand Gamenetics. And you can see here that we came up with this idea of a battle pass. It was very fitting for our audience. And so what we did is we actually designed a battle pass that had giveaways for certain rewards on the website. And as people purchased things, they had opportunities to win or gain access to giveaways or discounts or win the grand prize or get free things. This is a way that you can kind of gamify people purchasing from your website. And when you can connect this with all of your organic and all of your paid and all of your email and SMS, it kind of creates this fun gamified experience. And, I know most of you watching don't have a gaming accessories company, but if, for example, you have a company that sells clothing, right? Maybe you could create a winter themed with, evergreen trees and, snow-capped mountains. And you're drawing people into this environment where maybe you want to create a peaceful, serene type of environment, then you can do that with your branded graphics, with your logos included. And so the whole idea here is to create an emotion in your customers and tie that emotion to your products. And so for us, we know that gamers play games a lot of the time. And so we incorporated elements from games like Fortnite and Call of Duty to have some relatability or some familiarity to the things they were seeing in their everyday life, right? Most people are probably gaming at night when they come home from work. And so these things allow us to make it fun, make them feel a certain emotion. And particularly around Christmas time and the end of the year, for example, this whole winter theme, this peaceful type of experience, family, right? Those are all things that people typically experience during these times of the year. And so you can connect with those emotions and tie your brand to it, and then connect discounts and ways to earn, a way to get free things, and people will be more likely to buy because of it. So this is what we did, and this is what we do every year, was we create this branded campaign that is omnipresent across everything that we do. And this just creates more pull in your advertising, in your organic, in your content, and makes it exciting for the creators who are making content for your brand to promote your products. And that's how you're able to do $1 million quarters. All right? You can see here that what we were doing before, 20, 30, 40K a month, we were end up doing, I think, $500,000 a month in December, right? Like these numbers are crazy. And this is what this kind of approach can have on your business. So, I mentioned earlier that we're going to be talking about the needle mover, the thing that's going to really drive the most growth. What is the underlying thing that drives all of this? Now, we have the branded campaign. That's an important component. But what else can we do to accelerate that growth so we can scale aggressively, as long as we've got all of the other things dialed in? Well, I'm going to introduce you to the machine, okay? So this machine is really how we get to massive scale, all right? And what I've realized over the last few years, I've been doing e-commerce now for almost a decade, or actually I have been doing e-commerce for a decade, and what I've realized is that what is the underlying fundamental of what makes a brand scale? What differentiates brands who struggle to grow and maybe grow profitably, and brands that don't, and brands that can scale very aggressively? Maybe there's some of your competitors that you look at and you're like, how are they scaling so well? Well, when you look at ads and you look at marketing, at the bottom line, whether it's email and SMS, whether it's your organic content, whether it's you're making ads, it comes down to one thing. It's content. And I know that sounds boring, but it truly is the thing that matters. What is the thing that gets people to convert? It's content, it's videos, it's imagery, it's graphics. And so when you peel all the layers back and you identify that content is the needle driver and the biggest thing to focus on, even though it sounds boring, this is the thing that most brands miss. And they deprioritize it, which then they end up struggling to scale out accounts. Their ROAS is consistently declining, and ultimately kind of stuck because you don't know what to do. If you don't have ads, or you don't have organic, and you don't have growth happening in your business right now, you need to create more content. And content can come from a few different places. It can come from in-house, your in-house team creating content. Maybe you have a social media manager. Maybe you have someone who creates videos and edits them. Or you can leverage creators. Creators are everywhere. All over TikTok Shop, you can get creators to make affiliate content for you. And even on Meta, on Instagram, Facebook, there's shop content where you can pay creators to make content for you or pay them a commission. And so the whole idea here, it doesn't matter which side you pick. You have to pick a side or pick both. Because if you can't drive content, and I'm talking like quite a heavy volume, I'm talking like getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 videos a week, nothing else is going to work. Because if you can't get content and you can't test fast enough with different angles, with different hooks, right? You probably either talk to your advertising agency about hooks and what content's working best, or you have an in-house team who's running your ads. How often do you really sit down and analyze what your creative is actually doing? Maybe you haven't been able to find any more winners recently. Maybe you found that the Andromeda update on Meta is just screwing up all your ads and you don't know what to do. Well, it comes back to one thing. It's content. I can arguably say that the source of all your problems in scaling a business comes down to this. It's your creative. It may feel overwhelming. It's like, man, I know that's something I should be doing, but I don't know how to actually implement it for my business because of this, this, and this. Trust me, I felt the same way. It can be overwhelming. And making content in-house is such an unsexy thing. It just feels like there's so much you have to do. There's so much organization. There's so many more people you have to hire to make that happen. And I get it. This is what we did in the very beginning with my company that I started with my brother called Gamenetics. We had the same problem. Is like we didn't have the money to pay creators. So we had to go in-house. But we knew that content was necessary for us to grow. And because we were able to understand that, we just took messy action. We just decided to make content that was pretty heavily unedited, that was just authentic. We recorded clips. Like I remember one of our most first viral videos was me filming a video panning down on some of our products on a shelf with a little voiceover. Like 15 seconds, no cuts, no anything. It was just that. And that ended up blowing up and getting like 500,000 views. And so my point here is that it doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to overthink your content strategy. You don't need to have these crazy, crazy edits that you may see elsewhere online. You just need to make content. If you're a brand owner, you already know this. You already know that you're going to continue to iterate and get better, but you can't get better if you don't start. It's a lot less complicated than you think. And this can be as simple as, say, have a conversation with your shipping department and just say, hey, so we want to start making content for our brand, and we'd like to be able to showcase our customer orders and what people are actually ordering so that we can help other people to get ideas of what they should order too. Could you record a 10 to 20 second clip of just showing someone unboxing or putting together a package that's going to be shipped out every single day? Find someone that you think would be more likely to be willing to do that, right? Or get a little tripod that you can set up with a phone and just have it over the shoulder. But like, that's all you need to start with. That's what I'm talking about. You don't need to overthink this. And that's what we did in the beginning as well, is we literally just showed what people were ordering and talking about like this person, right? So we would say something like order number 3,250 got this, this, and this. That's basically our hook. And people are curious by that because it's like social proof. It's psychology. Because if that person's ordering, then maybe I could order too. You know, there's a little bit of trust there with that brand. So that's the in-house side. Now the creator side, this can be easier than you think as well. You don't need to go out and pay $1,000 a month for a creator to make your content. You can use platforms like the TikTok Affiliate Center where people can create content for you for say 20 or 30% commission. And there are also commission-focused creators as well that will just work for commission. The world we live in today, I would say that creators are the cheapest that they've ever been. And so if you want to have a creator make like say a video a day, 30 videos, you could probably pay them anywhere between $250 on the low end, maybe up to $1,000 a month to have them make 30 videos a month. That's a lot of content, right? Where you don't even have to think about it. You can just ship them the product, give them some ideas on what content to make, and let them have creative freedom and just create content. And so what this is going to do, imagine if you were creating one piece of content in-house and you were having a creator make one piece of content a day. That's 60 pieces of content a month. That's 2 videos a day. And that's just videos, right? We haven't even talked about statics or graphics. So you want to focus on maximum output at the highest quality. When you're thinking about making content, everyone's current situation is different. Everyone has different resources. You might have someone on your team that could make more content than maybe another brand. So think about what advantages you have and lean into those. But don't let it overwhelm you. This is just meant to be adding in addition to what you're already doing. So if the agency is also making content for you, then keep that going, right? But I can tell you right now that your source of your problems and why you're not scaling is content. So find a way, make a way to get more of this. And if you do this during Q4, I guarantee that you'll be able to scale faster. I guarantee you'll be able to do more sales. You've got to make sure that you're implementing correct strategies and you're making sure that you're getting feedback from the content you're creating, but you have to make more content. I don't care which way it is, it has to be done. And that content can be used for your organic strategy and also your ads. Your organic will compound over time. This is a long-term play. Your ads can be instant. And then distribution. Let's talk about distribution a little bit here as well. distribution, when I say that, what I mean is taking the content that you've posted and that you've created and repurpose it across your other social media platforms. So let's say you're making content in-house, and let's say your platform of choice is Instagram. You can then post that to YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, and TikTok. If your platform of choice is YouTube Shorts, then you can post that to Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. You can use a tool called repurpose.io to do this automatically for you. It's like $30 a month. This gives you more reach. It lets you double, triple, quadruple dip on the content you're already making to get more brand awareness. And we all know if you're really trying to grow a brand, you need more brand awareness. Everyone hates spending money on brand awareness. Well, you don't have to. Just make content in-house. And technically, as the founder, you are spending a bit of money with that person, right, making content, but like it's a much more efficient, cost-effective way to do it. And just make it a part of your culture. Just make it something that you guys do on a regular basis. And this has contributed to us getting over 1.5 million followers over the last 2 to 3 years. And so it's incredibly, incredibly powerful just because we've made more content. It's boring, but it works. Now, the other thing you can do here is with your creators and in-house team, and even your customers, is you can create a brand community on Discord, for example. So you can have them come in to your Discord and you can speak and nurture and talk with your customers, the creators, and even part of your in-house team to share testimonials, to make videos reviewing the product, getting people's first impression. This is another thing that you can do very, very easily that will actually help you grow your brand. That's the machine. Hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions about this, about your specific situation, leave them down below in the comments. I'll get back to them. So let's talk about the boring stuff. We've already kind of talked about the boring stuff with content. The boring stuff, I want you to look at these for a second. This is daily metrics tracking our advertising and performance of the content every single day. We're tracking our ROAS, we're tracking our AOV, we're tracking our conversion value, we're tracking our conversion rate, ad payment info, start checkout, ATC, sessions, CPC, outbound CTR, our tacos, our CAC, right? Like literally everything on this spreadsheet. This is the truth, is if you're not measuring the performance of the content that you create, how can you make better content? If you don't have data to look at, how do you know if it's working? And I hate to say this, and I'm probably gonna get kind of passionate about this, but like I see so many people making content and producing. They've already done the first step. They've already done this. They're already doing this. But their approach is spray and pray. Their approach is just throw crap at a wall and see what sticks. That's not the way to go about it. You have to track. You have to have data. Because without data, you can't make educated decisions on what's working and what's not. So we track our data daily. We track our hooks. We track our headlines, everything. We track exactly what changes we make to what ad account. And we document our observations on why the ad account's not performing. If you're not doing data tracking like this, then you can't improve this at an accelerated rate. And so this is the exact thing that we were doing to scale like we did. The biggest quarter that they've ever done. So the boring stuff is what works. This is the boring stuff. And if you're not tracking, then you can't improve. And that will put you in this vicious cycle of constantly not being profitable, constantly ad costs rising. You're not going to make it in 5 to 10 years if you don't do this. It is the future. And social commerce is where we're headed. It's getting bigger and bigger, using creators and leveraging customers to make content to promote you because we live in a trust recession. People don't trust you. How do you build trust? You build trust through other people's communities, other people's following, other people's subscribers, because they already have the trust. That's why this is so powerful. This is how we've been able to grow so quickly. You have to do this. It's so important. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Really glad I got to share this with you, but this is how you do $1 million in less than 90 days and how you can do it too. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck in Q4. Let's lock in, and I'll see you in the next video.